for Bobby Wine. Bobby Wine is going to produce many members of parliament. That one is not debatable. Because Ugandans are sick and tired of this regime. But people power can't produce a president of Uganda. Why? Museveni is not in power because of a ballot. Museveni is in power because of a gun. Museveni took power in 1986 not through a ballot. He took power through a gun. And he has successfully managed in Uganda using a gun. When you look at UPDF, it's an extension of Yoweri Museveni. UPDF does not belong to Ugandans. It belongs to Yoweri Museveni. Museveni uses UPDF in any way he wants. You're getting me? Because Dr. Kizza Besigye has successfully defeated Museveni 3 times, but he's in the State House. No, the answer is no. It will even happen again in 2021. Don't think Dr. Besigye is coming back. But Dr. Besigye is not giving up. He's not giving up. Basically, if you want one of the smartest person you want in this country, it's Dr. Kizza Besigye. He's not, to me, I don't think he's coming back. And if I was to advise him, why would you come back? Because 3 times you've won an election and you are not in the State House. The last one, 2016, the man was put behind bars for 2 months in his home. So, people power, they should tell me what trick they are going to use in 2021. UPDF serves Yoweri Museveni. Uganda police serves Yoweri Museveni. Uganda prisons, Museveni can jail you in any prison in Uganda where he wants. You're getting so it's impossible. Use a Nangamuntu to join a circle group somewhere and get a loan.
That is Frank Gashumba. He made this interview earlier this week, and he made several Facebook posts to clear his point, to make sure that his argument is heard. Specifically going to use English for publicity purposes. I've listened to Mr. Frank Gashumba. I've listened to him several times to understand where he comes from. Then I had to go on his Facebook wall. I read the same words. He's trying to give us a point. Before I disagree with him or agree with him, I want to give my opinion towards his post, his interviews, and me personally, what do I think? So it means I'm also going to give my opinion. I know my opinion may not be the smartest, but it is okay. Just like his, he owns his. Mr. Gashumba is making a point here. I don't want to trash each and everything he said. There is somewhere he's saying that Bobby Wine, Honorable Chagwani, is going to produce many MPs, but people power cannot produce a president. I want to agree with Mr. Gashumba on this one, but I'll also take my opinion on this. Mr. Chagwani, the only reason why we are discussing him today, not because he happened to be a seasoned politician or a leader, you can name it in that line. He got us, they call it off guard. Few of us saw him coming to be this. Actually, I didn't know that. I didn't expect Ugandans to buy Bobby, as I usually try to call him. It's nice for me to call him that way. But I want to use this analogy that once upon a time, in political science stories, there was a frog and a scorpion. A scorpion didn't know how to swim, a frog knew how to swim. But they happened to be on the shores of where they want to swim. It could be a pond, it could be a lake, it could be a river. A scorpion didn't know how to swim, asked a frog to help him swim through the water. The frog tried to hesitate. He told, no, you may sting me. I'm scared. I don't know. But later, they agreed. The scorpion had to sit on the back of a frog to swim. But as they were finishing swimming, then scorpion, as usual, stung the frog. And when the frog was dying, asked, "Why have you stung me?" The scorpion replied that it is my nature. Why I'm using this example? To clarify that what Mr. Gashumba is trying to say is seeing a frog as Bobby Wine and scorpion. Now in this case we have many scorpions. Those people who are near Bobby Wine today, for him, is saying that those the Gashumbas who are far away from him, they love him even more than those who are getting close. In his argument, to me, he's trying to send an indicator that Bobby should get ready, Honorable Chaguan, that you are an innocent frog. I'm not trying to abuse. You'll be stung by the people around you. It is possible. If you want to know, ask Mr. Besige. But it is also okay that now you're that person everyone is looking at. You have most of Ugandans who are looking up and say, okay, lead us. It is very okay. So, Ugandans, as we are making our attacks back to Mr. Gashumba, let us try to analyze that point. Then, before we go to next part of his post, as you can call it, or his interview, I want you to relate to this. That a study was done in USA. They discovered that as we are around 18 teenagers, we always think that everyone is thinking about us. So we are suffering from perfectionism. Then as we approach 40, we start to be like, no, I don't care who think about what I think. So it's more like, I don't care who you think I am, but what I think, all what I know is what I think I am. So normally at around 40, we don't care what people think. But as we approach 60s, we realize that, the people we thought they were thinking about us, they're actually not thinking about us. So this rule, I want Ugandans to relate it and Africans, because I'm using a language which I'm aware that many Africans can relate, and all other parts of the world, that in this case, Bobby, Honorable Chagulanyi, the support he has, his supporters, they are at 18. They overmind what other people think. I don't know that I'm understood that Bobby Wine's funds, Honorable Chagulanyi, they think that people or other camps, they are thinking about them, they are minding them. So as people are talking and giving different opinions on who Chagulanyi should be with, on who Honorable Chagulanyi should be with, on who should he go close to, those are their opinions. But once people power camp overmind about other people what they think, is like a teenager. But I feel like now the Besigye and the Museveni camps, I think it's more Museveni and the Muntu camp, they're at around 40s. Though Muntu has just come in, this official opposition is trying to be like, okay, I'm opposing using my own tactics in what I believe in, because we tried the other one, it did fail. So is finding options. It looks more mature that ANT supporters, they look at 40, they don't mind what people say. But now, the more mature, the more kinda, how do I put this? Like the Besigye support, it looks like he's at 60 now. So in 60s, they are realizing that actually people are not thinking about us. And if I'm Dr. Besigye, what I would do is to join the force with those who are at 18, at 40, and we at 60s. Let's say the Besigye camp. Okay, to make it this clear, Bobby and Muntu can make a very nice combination. But their tactics, they are more election related issue. Okay, strategies, let us do this, let us try this. But remember, Muntu, he was in FDC, they won elections several times. They did not. So what I'm trying to say that ANT and People Power should team up. And also stay in a coalition with FDC. Because at least if opposition can control parliament, it means they can overthrow Museveni without even winning him at the presidency direct. And this is what makes Frank Gashumba that point of him saying that he will produce many MOPs. There should not be just many MOPs, but there should be sufficient MOPs to overthrow the government. But as we are skeptic about their behavior, so Bobby Wine and Miss Honorable Chagulanyi should be aware that they may turn into scorpions. So he should, if not a must, find ways of not being a victim of these hungry scorpions that may emerge from his team, because we cannot rule that out. Then another point, Mr. General Frank Gashumba, I'll choose to use that specifically, is saying that people power, if they are thinking of saying that they are going to win Museveni with a belt, is daydreaming. I think, Mr. Gashumba, you are wrong, but you may be right. So I'm going to argue both sides. In this case, I'm going to have two positions, because I'm just trying to give different opinions. How will this side think? How will this side think? One school of thought may say, no, Mr. Gashumba, it is you who doesn't believe in change, in things changing, because someone will ask you that, okay, if you cannot be dreamers, then what should we be? Right? We have to dream whether day or night, because I don't want to think that once Mr. Museveni dies, God forbid, but he will die definitely. Ugandans and the guns in Uganda, they have to be buried with him in order Uganda to have a transformation of power, to have a liberated country. So we should think again. And it is always like, now this one is to popular. Once you win, then losers will focus on you. So you don't mind about such words that you're daydreaming. Always it is not possible until it is possible. Most of the multi-million businesses we have today in the world, they don't have 100 years. They just started recently. They have 20 years, maybe 30 years, the oldest, or 40 years, but I know most of them, they don't have up to 50 years. The toppest in companies today that make more profits. So, Honorable Chagulan, keep on dreaming. We are all dreamers. I'm a dreamer. And I know out there, once we say that we don't allow dreamers, then we are doing what I call cannibalizing our countries. The only reason why USA is more successful than most of the countries, than our African countries, it's because they have what they call American dream. Everyone is trying to do something different. So, Mr. Gashumba, on this point, I want also to let you know that Museveni, my president, he started using a gun in 1969, so many years ago. He has learned how to use it, to strategize around it, and successfully he has won with it several times. He has controlled people with it, but he has not manufactured a gun or a bullet. He knows how to use it. So what I'm trying to say, Mr. Frank, with all due respect, I don't find it cool to make Ugandans think that the president we have is Alpha and Omega. Whatever the case, whether he has army, he can control it, they are human beings. I want to let you know. And the last time I checked, human beings, they are dynamic. So they can change anytime. I think you're getting me right. So they can change. Don't make us feel like Mr. Museveni is putting army in his pocket. He puts all the guns in his pocket. No, and that one, I disagree. But then on the other side, what if Mr. Gashumba is just trying to tickle our minds? The People Power supporters, the FDC supporters, the opposition supporters, the independent-minded like me, that no, you cannot overthrow Museveni. But when, in actual sense, he wants us to react and throw the government, because that is another way. And people can be like telling us, okay, you, what's up? What are you doing? What can you do? When in actual sense, they want to see what is your reaction. What are you going to do? So before we insult him, let us try to look at the other side. Do you know why he's saying this? As I told you, SJ is looked to be like at a 60. Now he's realizing that people are not really thinking about him. Yet all along he thought that Ugandans are thinking about him. But Mr. Gashumba, then another person will say, what if people just want to try Bobi Wine, and Bobi Wine can be a spark to change the government? If indeed to change the government, it will take us to demonstrate. It will need demonstrations around the country so that the power changes. What if Ugandans are willing to go that far around this time? Because I've read so many times this statement that say the only true opposition now in Uganda is Bobi Wine, is Honorable Chagulanyi. What if Ugandans are saying that? Ugandans, before we judge, before we react, before we abuse, my advice is simple. Let us try to listen to each and every one, analyze what they are saying, try to understand why they have said so, what are their intentions. Like I said in the previous video, that sometimes we may not manage to really understand who has a freedom and has a liberty. Yet we realized that in Africa, in Uganda, even the rich, they are able only to access liberties. What if Mr. Gashumba is among those? I want you to remember, few months ago, if not yet a year, he was arrested, and I'm not sure whether that case is closed. What if they're just forcing him to do what he does? What if? We should ask ourselves before we abuse him, before we should try to understand each and everything, because Mr. Gashumba several times he has told the powers in Uganda that the way they are treating us Ugandans is not the right way. By the way, get your national ID, because it is your own responsibility, not because you support Chagulanyi, but because you are a citizen of Uganda. And as he said, you can use it in circle. But that is not the only reason why you should get it. You should get it to fight for your rights. And another thing, Ugandans, we must not let everyone think for us. We should always find ways of analyzing things for ourselves, of understanding things for ourselves. And another thing, and let us wait in the second video, the next video. Keep tuned. Thank you for watching our videos. Those of you who have subscribed, we take that as support. Those of you who have liked our video, that means respect to our work. And those of you who have shared it, that is love to us. And we don't take that for granted. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. We are so grateful.